fairer skin, and had long blonde hair. I said, sorry,
hey,
you messed up.
Hey, you know what though? I think I'm going to try to scoop the synopsis of your book that you've got coming out as to who they're working for. I think I've discovered it in the conversation here, and
I hope so.
And I believe it's the clown.
That's good.
He is the one controlling these things. He is the master. He is the head of the organization. Is that right?
You got to follow the yellow brick road.
He has pointy teeth and red hair and big shoes. No wonder and he scares the kids. Hey, but listen, when you talk about clowns, or not clowns, we'll keep talking about it, but if you talk about clones, if someone had the capacity, ability, technology to make a clone, couldn't they use an accelerated growth hormone of some sort and get a full-grown clone in less than a year?
He probably could. The physical part of that is not hugely difficult, in my opinion. The problem is you can't insert. And I'm gonna say this, and I hope your astute audience has some fun with this. If you can create a body, two people can go out and I mean, it doesn't take rocket science for two people to produce a body. A child.
Okay. Point
is an example here. The problem is you don't give the soul to the body. Mm-hmm. Somebody else does that. Mm-hmm. Somebody takes it and somebody gives it. And the fact is, if you go out and decide to create a clone, as an example, does it in fact have a soul? Does it have a spirit? Does it have any of those things? Mm-hmm. We don't know yet, do we? Mm-hmm. We know that Dolly, with the sheep, before they made her, mm-hmm. there were like hundreds of experiments that didn't go right before she got here. And it makes you wonder, when people clone people, they say, well, science is, I got news for you. They're already cloning people. Mm-hmm. That's already going on. And that's not conspiracy stuff. That's a fact. I know, and I know better.
Yeah, to get there, you probably go through like a sheep with 2 heads and, 5 legs.
Exactly. Thank you. So who wants to be first on the cloning list? Not me.
Hey, but let me ask you something. When the body is created, the soul or spirit that is inserted, is that an already existing thing, or is it created at the time the body is created?
Well, these are good questions. You remember the picture of it's painted. It shows a picture of God touching Adam.
Yeah.
In the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, stretching out.
My daughter paints these on people's ceilings, these rich people's houses.
Right.
And if you look carefully, if you study art appreciation, what you'll see there is that God is touching. Notice Adam is kind of almost half asleep there. He's just waking up. God is animating him. He's giving his soul. That's what the touch is with the finger. Mm-hmm. And all the people behind, there's a lady underneath God's arm there, kind of real close there. That's Eve.
Yeah. Right.
And the people behind, in that imagery of God, in this anthropomorphic expression, and then that's all it is those are all the people that are yet to come, according to the artist. My thinking is this. There are people who say, well, those horrible things they're doing, abortion, is they're killing all these babies. Oh, I totally agree. I think that's wrong. It's criminal. And I think somebody is ultimately going to pay for that. I don't care whether you believe in heaven and hell, but I'll tell you, if you've seen the meanness and the evil that I've seen in my life, I don't care whether you believe in heaven or not, but I guarantee you there's a hell, because somebody's going to pay for that kind of horribleness that has been wrought on mankind and through mankind and by mankind. The point is that I think that I basically think that this is really involved.
Yeah.
I think that. In fact, here's another. This is one of the questions. This one of these producer people were asking here in the room. He said, "Do you think that?" He said, "I believe in that the soul begins when the baby's actually physically born." And I said, "Well, you may be right. I can't prove that yay or nay." I said, "But for me, that doesn't work." And he said, "Why not?" And I said, "Because," I said, "You're a Christian?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Then go back to your basic book." I said, you remember the prophet Jeremiah is 18 years old? He was just a kid as a Jew. You're not even really a mature adult until you're 30. And he says, yeah. And I said, okay. He's arguing with God, and God says, I want you to do this for me. And he said, I can't do that. I'm just a child. They'll never listen to me. He said, say not unto me that thou art a child. I ordained you a prophet before nations, before you were ever born. I said, that kind of flies in the face of what you're saying there, doesn't it, bud? He said, but Adam was created. I said, listen to me. You're not listening to yourself. Adam was created. You weren't. Adam was created. You weren't. Adam and Eve didn't have belly buttons. You do. The alien doesn't have a belly button. What does that mean? He didn't get here the way you did. They have no mammary glands. They had no genitalia in most cases. What does that mean? It means that these particular ones didn't get here. They're either cloned, hatched, or they're something else. They didn't get here like we do. They're not like you, and you need to quit. I told him you need to quit giving the alien these wonderful attributes far higher than we may have. I said they may not have them at all, but they certainly appreciate your acclamation of those endowed things that they certainly don't have. I said, they're just working for somebody else. It's just a job. They live in fear. They live in a militaristic society that's so horrific. Mm-hmm. They live in fear. And the only way you're going to find that fear out, really, is in your abduction when that alien, that little gray, transfers his fear to you, and you find out exactly how he lives his life in great fear. The only time he experiences freedom is when he gets to come down here and pick up his pizza, you, because he gets to transfer his fear to you, and it's no longer on him, and you'll see that he's not afraid at that point.
Really? Well, what if we don't? What if the person doesn't want his fear? How do you give it back?
Well, yeah, you can. We've showed people how to fight back, how to do things that you don't have to lay there and take it, that you can become a spy. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm concerned, for the human race, you can rebel, you can do all kinds of things, and you should. I don't care whether you're a Christian, I don't care whether you're not a Christian.
Okay.
You're dealing for the human race here.
What would be representative of that type of alien transferred fear?
Well, the fact you can't move, he'll give you a suggestion you can't move. And then you're shaking. You're just a fear comes over you. You've never ever experienced. You know it's a new fear because it's something you don't even have a clue about. It's a fear beyond your understanding. It's where he lives. He lives in that fear. Their whole society is controlled by these mechanisms, and that's how he is controlled, by fear. He doesn't have to be very intelligent. He just has to deliver the pizza. That's all. Mm-hmm.
I refuse to be on that menu myself. I hope the Edge listeners are too. We were just going to refuse to be in the menu. In your travels, has it ever, in investigations, has it ever led you to any underground bases?
A wonderful question. Good night. The only underground bases that have been quote unquote proven to be fact. One is out in California. The photographs were taken by a friend of mine. He discovered it with a guy who was doing the photography, and he's an airline pilot. He spends all of his money listening to these, and I mean to say this nicely, airheads who go out and say, well, there's an underground base out there in the desert. And my question is, how do you know that? Because there's an old ranch out there. That's called an old ranch. Yeah, but there's an underground base underneath it. How do you know that, sir? Well, it must be because I saw the movie. Oh, that must be it. The problem is this guy listens to all these people's stories, and if he thinks they're even halfway credible, he spends his money and goes out and looks for these underground bases. He's only found 2 or 3, but they're quite real. We have an underground base here in Montgomery County, right outside Harris County, where I'm here in Houston. It houses about 20,000 people. It was built by a Chinese billionaire back in the 80s, and it's for sale, by the way. You can buy it if you like. Mm-hmm. It's available.
Okay. Hey,
but underground bases do exist, but we don't know to what degree. Okay. We know there's underground boring equipment that's about 20 feet across. I've got some pictures of these. I can probably send people. Yeah. The Air Force didn't get those for nothing. They cost a huge amount of money, and they bore about 20 feet across. So where do you think they're boring? Like 20 feet? No, they're boring for probably miles somewhere.
So would you say that the Earth may have an infestation of these cosmic airheads?
In my opinion, they own the place. By that I mean, if you and I, speaking of humanity, if you and I are having a hard time trying to even figure out what they are, or if they exist, or if they are Are they demons or are they angels? Are they ancient beings from another world? Are they from another time? Or whatever? We're sitting here debating all this kind of stuff while they're still doing what they're doing